You're tuned in to The Fighter's Voice on AM 1680, The Answer. Voiceography at its finest. And now, here's your host, Richard Ortiz.
And so do you at 1680 AM, The Fighter's Voice in collaboration with The Answer. Here in the studio, I got the one, the only, the promoter, Rick Mirigian. Hey, this part is called In the News. I'm going to throw some news at Mr. Rick here, and he's going to give me the whole breakdown, his assessment, his take back on some of these right here. I know, Rick, you're probably tired of hearing this, but still, it makes the news. UFC's Conor McGregor is getting closer and closer to finalizing a mega fight with Floyd Mayweather. What's your thought on this? Joke, reality, or business?
You want the real answer to this?
I want the real answer, unfiltered.
So the real answer to this is, when there's this much money involved, things find a way to get done. Things happen. Now, if you're a boxing fan, is it utterly ridiculous? Absolutely. Is it far-fetched and retarded? Absolutely. Is there a chance that it'll happen? Absolutely, there's a chance that this will happen. There's too much money involved. There's a lot of crazy, ignorant people out there in the world that would pay to see something like this, that aren't boxing enthusiasts, that aren't, buried in the sweet science and its history and so forth. They see a crazy Irishman, and then they see a crazy flamboyant boxer who's done everything from, toss money on strippers to beat people up. At the end of the day, that's what they're seeing. So there's a minority group of pure boxing fans, of course, but there's a larger audience out there that's willing to pay for the entertainment and the hype that's being done. Now, the ancillary effects of what happens after a fight like this, both for the UFC and their product and boxing, as a promoter and speaking from that angle, what I can see happening is nothing happening to boxing, because what's going to happen is what's supposed to happen. Floyd's going to beat him up, win easily, etc. However, from the UFC standpoint, there has to be enough money there to compensate for the UFC taking a little bit of a blow, and a blow to their brand overall, because Conor's going to take a loss. Conor's going to look bad afterwards. It's going to look like his a sham. So I don't think boxing suffers after that fight if it happens. I think the UFC does, but it could happen.
Would you promote it?
Man, I would promote you fighting the guy at the car wash right now. So I'll promote anything at any time.
You'd be surprised. I don't just write about this stuff, but that's a whole different story right now. Now, I want to ask you this. When can we see Jose Ramirez back in Fresno? Save-Mart Center.
Save-Mart Center, you'll see Jose December 8th. I'm going to be announcing very soon. You'll see him one more time in Fresno before that. And you'll see him in a very big venue that we've never done before that holds about 15,000 people. And I'll be announcing that also. That'll be in the summertime. Next week, all this stuff drops. Jose's next fight also, I'll give you a hint, and you're the only person to even have a hint at this point, but I'm not going to tell you anything past that. But he'll fight on Cinco de Mayo, actual Cinco de Mayo this year, and wait till I tell you the rest of the information with that one. But the rest of the year is set out here. Jose will fight in two gigantic venues, and 2017 looks promising with his quest towards a world title.
Hey, you know what? Jose Ramirez, class act. I've never seen him turn down an autograph. I've never seen him turn down a handshake. And I will say this real quickly about him. He did an interview with somebody that's holding a cell phone, conducted himself with so much professionalism and mannerism right next to a guy who was holding a $5,000 camera. So whether it's ESPN camera in his face or a fan with a cell phone, gave him the utmost respect. Now, since we're talking about Jose Ramirez, when can we see Jose Ramirez on 1680 AM, The Fighter's Voice, in collaboration with The Answer? When can we see him in studios, Rick?
So we got a big press conference that's coming to town March 3rd. We're going to do it at Dave & Buster's in Fresno, California. At that press conference, Jose will be here, as well as Tim Bradley. Our press conferences, as you know, are unreal. They look like gigantic HBO productions. So you'll be able to catch Jose March 3rd out here for sure. He'll be at Dave & Buster's for the press conference. We have a media meet and greet thing afterwards, so you'll catch him over there to talk to you.
I saw Jose one time, and I guess somewhere down the line in another life, he used to play soccer because he had a soccer ball, and man, he just had some skills. I guess the guy's just a natural athlete. Talking about that, I'm going to change up just for a little while because I've been wanting to ask you. I've heard so many rumors. I've heard so many. I just can't see it. I'm not clowning you or nothing, but I heard you have a wicked jump shot. Where did that come from? That's you, Mr. Rick.
No, I haven't played in a few years. My ankle jacked up, but yeah, I can shoot. Definitely, I can shoot. So those stories are true.
Yeah, well, I've been hearing. They said, yeah, have you seen him on the basketball court? I go, no, I haven't seen him. I didn't even know he played sports. He goes, man, don't let him bet you because they'll pull out some money and say, hey, who got some money on this? And then I heard you'll miss the first 2 and then hit like 10 in a row.
Yeah, that's the promoter in me. Usually, no one will think no one would think I would play basketball or could. So I've won a lot of bets with people over the years that ran their mouths a little bit. Jose, I'll tell you a few stories. Jose, I'm not too shy to say this, but I beat you to 15-0 back when you were going to London. So I like to bring that up all the time to him. But that was when my ankle worked.
Hey, even for fun, have you ever put the mouthpiece in and put the gloves on just to hit the bag a little bit?
Actually I did, and I did it last year. It was driving me crazy just to understand it a little bit more. And I went to Southeast Boxing, Mike Hodges, and I actually went through about 3 or 4 lessons, footwork, hit the mitts. I didn't spar with anyone live, but I went through some real boxing, training and stuff. And boy, did I have a new appreciation for some of these fighters, how they're able to move in the ring and the stamina and not getting tired and remembering punch combos. I mean, it's mind-blowing.
Oh, these guys are tough athletes, man. They're just so state of the art. I mean, you really got to do your homework. You got to take your hat off to all these fighters that even go the distance and lose every round. I mean, the game has just changed, and we're going to change right now. We're going to go to commercial break and come back with the one and only, the best promoter in more than 559 the world, Rick Mirigian.